The All Progressives Congress remained silent on the issues of zoning after its 11th National Executive Committee meeting. And once again, President Buhari has met with service chiefs over the spate of insecurity in the country. This is Plus Politics, and I am Kofi Bartels. You're welcome. The National Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, Felix Morka, has said that the party is yet to take a decision on the issue of zoning as well as the mode of primaries it will adopt ahead of a 2023 presidential election. The All Progressives Congress also says it will begin its sale of presidential governorship and national as well as state assembly forms this Saturday. However, it is the high nomination fees for aspirants that has generated discussions around the country. Now, we're glad to say we have joining us on Plus Politics tonight the presidential aspirant on the platform of the NNPP, Victor Anilajo, who is with us in the studio, and joining us via Zoom, the convener of the Progressive Youth Group in the APC, Idris Jibril. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us. Jibril, you're an insider as far as the APC is concerned, and I'm sure you followed keenly the National Executive Committee meeting that held yesterday. We hear President Buhari and Vice President Yemi Osinbajo were there from the onset. The news coming out was a bit different from what the spokesperson of the party has been saying recently. The news we heard was that the party had chosen the indirect primaries mode, indirect primaries rather, and had also, zoned the presidential ticket to the southern part of the country. Now we're hearing from the spokesperson that there was no decision taken as far as the mode of primaries the party will adopt is concerned. Also, as far as zoning is concerned, what can you tell us about this NEC meeting? What really happened?
Okay, thank you very much. I think the publicity secretary of the party have the official mandate to communicate the position of the party to the public. So whatever the publicity secretary has said so far, maybe there was an in-house discussion that wasn't meant to be in the public purview for now. When is the appropriate time for this discussion to be in the public purview, the publicity secretary is going to come out again and tell us that this is the position of the party officially. The case of zoning, I think we've heard from grapevines and across some other medias that the party is planning to zone its presidential ticket to the south. Correct. And some other issues. I think as the electioneering process unveils itself, a lot of other things will become open to us. We are going to have the official communication from the party. We shouldn't forget, this party executive just got inaugurated not quite long ago. They are trying to hit the ground running and understand a lot of things that have been handled by the Mai Mala Buni-led caretaker committee. So let's give them the benefit of doubt and allow them to actually understudy some of these things and get us on our feet once again. We are approaching election period. So we need to put our heads together with them and push our narrative collectively to the public. Thank you.
So Idris Jibril, what you're saying is that despite the spokesman of your party coming out, as Felix Morka coming out to say no decision was taken on zoning, you're saying that a decision was taken on zoning, but they are not ready to tell the public as it stands, and until that comes out, we should wait. But that you have heard and you're aware that the party is zoning its presidential ticket to the south. Is that what you're saying?
Well, the publicity secretary have the mandate to communicate to us officially. But of course we know unofficially that after the 8 years of the president being in the north, it is just logical that the presidency should be zoned to the south.
Okay, but you've had some information to indicate that such a decision was taken. You talked about the
It's
grapevine.
all over the news on a lot of medias, on a lot of platform, on new medias and also on the print media. It's all over the news.
All right. So basically, he's just trying to deny what has already been decided.
Not denial, I wouldn't say denial, probably waiting for the appropriate time to communicate the position of the party. Maybe they want to ratify that decision because that decision was taken by the May Malabuni led caretaker committee. So they need to come down and ratify that decision too. And then we move forward from there.
How about the issue of the mode of primaries to adopt? Um, is that also something that was decided upon, but it's just a case of the party not being ready to announce it yet?
Well, the APC constitution was quite clear about the mode of primaries. It left the room open for direct, indirect, and also consensus. I think from their NEC meeting yesterday, the powers of the NEC have been transferred to the NWC, and the NWC is going to decide on the appropriate mode of primaries that will suit all party faithful so that we don't have internal rancors as we move along this electioneering process.
All right, all right. So this news coming out on all platforms, on newspapers and electronic media like ours, and you have social media. You're saying you can't confirm that because it's almost the same thing that happened to the rumor as far as zoning is concerned.
You're right.
All right.
Some of this news we hear on the media could actually be, yes, they may be authentic news, but they also need the authentication of the party. So until the publicity secretary comes out to tell us this is what has been decided, it still remains a speculation.
As far as you're concerned, as a member of the All Progressives Congress, I mean, I know the party's constitution recognizes both direct and indirect primaries, and this was a paramount or was really seen in 2019 when Adams Oshimole was chairman of the party, adopting different primaries in different states or modes of primary in different states. But as far as you're concerned, for the 2023 elections, what would be the ideal mode of selecting or electing the party's flag bearers? Would it be indirect, or will it be directly by the party members?
Okay, considering the situation of things at the moment and how the party has been able to handle some of this internal crisis, I think the most appropriate mode of primaries would be an indirect primary. We can have all delegates across wards, local government, and everybody coming down to one location within the country to have a primary election. So I think according to the party's calendar, we still have the delegate election coming up soon, and that will determine who are going to be delegate at the primary election. So let's keep watching as things unfold. The appropriate mode of primary is going to be communicated by the right authority in the party.
All right. Another thing that came out from that particular meeting was President Muhammad Buhari warning against imposition as the APC decides on its candidates for the 2023 elections. The president warned the leaders of the All Progressives Congress at both the national and state levels against factions and imposing unpopular candidates as the 2023 election approaches. Do you foresee that this call and this directive by the president will be heeded, bearing in mind the nature of the politics that we see at play in the country today?
Well, there might be some dissent here or there, but I think majority will heed to this clarion call of the president not to impose candidates. Imposing candidate is a recipe for disaster in the party. So we can't afford to impose an unpopular candidate on the people. And this should go across all levels, from the local government election down to the highest election in the country. We should learn to allow democratic process a part. Let a popular candidate emerge through the official process that has been designated by the party. Having to impose candidate will actually be the downfall of a party. We've seen this in several states where candidates were imposed, and at the end of the day, the unpopular candidate couldn't win the vote. So having a popular candidate will be a guarantee for success at whatever level that they are contesting.
All right, Jibril, this is quite clear. I mean, you've said it already. It's best to have a popular candidate, but I'm sure we would also do ourselves justice by recognizing the dynamics at play in the different states across the federation. I mean, the president, said the same thing you're saying. He talked about the cost to the APC in previous elections, this attitude of imposing candidates or imposition of candidates by, so-called godfathers. But, I mean, is this easy? Because you have some dynamics at play across the country, different situations and different scenarios, different historical factors, different zoning formulas and zoning arrangements that may make it imperative for certain popular candidates to be asked to step aside, or to be asked to sit it out, or to not be supported by the powers that be in a party. For fairness' sake, you're also aware that the APC has several parallel executives, let me call it that, across different states, following the congresses that held, around the country. We had, so in some states, like Akwa Ibom State, you had 3 excos coming up. So how can these challenges be surmounted? Will it be that easy, for power brokers in the party to not select or impose? I mean, I can give you examples, and I'm sure you're well aware of this.
Definitely. I think the new party executive have it as part of their mandate to reconcile all states that have parallel factions. I think part of those states include Akwa Ibom, like you have rightly mentioned, and even river states, like you have mentioned. And all of these states that have parallel function, as they are as a result of imposition of candidates. And I think it is quite appalling that at this point in our political history, some power brokers will feel they are strong and powerful enough to impose candidates. We've gone past the period of 1999. This is 2022. People are more aware politically. People are more knowledgeable, and people understand this political process better now. Imposing a candidate would definitely be a recipe for disaster. There are quite a lot of court cases here and there, and this is not going to augur well for the party. The party lost Zamfara due to imposition. So we don't want to have a repeat of such crisis anymore in our party. And the new executive of the party have it as part of their top mandate, in their top banner, to ensure that every state that have factions are reconciled, and let's have one unified body across the state up to the federal level.
All right. Before I bring in our guest in studio, Victor Nilaju, Jibril, what does it mean? Can you explain this to us? We hear the National Executive Committee of the party transferred powers to the National Working Committee until July 2022, and I'm trying to understand how that works. We're bearing in mind that both bodies have their own respective functions. For instance, we told the party's secretary, Dr. Yelao Mishore, disclosed that the powers of the National Executive Committee will be handed over or delegated to the National Working Committee. The president also told the new members of the National Working Committee, which had been delegated the powers of the NEC, to work towards keeping the party together. So what's at play here? Can you explain this to us?
Okay, I think there's a provision in the INEC law that we actually need to meet up with this electoral timetable. So we're trying to see how we can meet up with this electoral timetable. So we want to have an expanded house. The National Working Committee involves ESCOs across the state, party executive across the state. It's a more expanded house so that decision making are faster, and we can arrive at a decision and have our delegate list and our candidate list submitted to INEC at the right time, so that we meet up with the INEC guidelines without having any rancors or issues here and there, where it has to pass from the state down before it gets to the NEC, the National Executive Committee. So the NWC, transferring the powers of the NEC to the NWC, is to expedite actions to see that things are done faster and we can meet up with most of these INEC deadlines, because we wasted quite a lot of time during the May Malabuni-led caretaker committee. Now we need to meet up. We've not even started the sale of forms yet. So all these things are meant to expedite the party's activity to see that we meet up with INEC timetable. Thank you.
All right. Now, having looked at what transpired in the issues, I've kept Victor Anilaje on eyes because he's not a member of the APC, so might not be informed about the workings of that meeting. Except, Victor, it's something you've not told us. Last time I checked, you're a member of the NNPP. Now, let's go straight. And Jibrila, I'm sure you're very well aware of this, as we all are, of the contention or the contentious issue of the cost of the nomination and expression of interest forms by the All Progressives Congress. I mean, social media was on fire last night. Radio stations and TV stations, were on fire yesterday. Let's not waste time. We'll just give you the total. For the House of Assembly election, you have the total sum of 2 million naira for the form. For the House of Representatives election, you have 10 million naira, the total sum for the form. For the Senate election, you have the total of 20 million naira for the form. For the governorship election, you have a total of 50 million naira for the form. And then for the presidential election, you have a total of 100 million naira for the form. Expression of interest and nomination total, APC. Victor Anilaje, you are a young politician, aspiring president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria on the platform of the NNPP. Can you understand why people are screaming and are complaining about this 100 million naira presidential nomination form or presidential form cost by the APC?
Well, okay, let me first of all say thank you for having me in your show today. For us as the current generation, we see it as a way to disenfranchise the younger visionary candidates. Because I do not think there's a Nigerian today within the age of 50 below that will want to put in 100 million to purchase a nomination form. That is one. Then number two is the party itself, the party executives have just said to Nigerians that we know how much most of our political offices holder, how much they normally we take or steal from government. So they want to take their own first.
Is that what the party said?
But that's just, okay, look at the price.
Yeah.
House of Rep, 10 million. Senate, 20 million. Because they know that the Rep earn lesser than the Senate. Governor, 50 million. President, 100 million. What are you taking those money for? What party needs its membership? It's so sad that instead of party to be driving membership, they're driving money. So that tells you that their methodology to win the 2023 election is to buy votes. There is no way on earth in advanced countries where party will be running after money rather than running after membership, right? If you take for example in the US, they will give you an option. You pay half the price and you give them like maybe 12,000 members. And it's so ashamed for us now that we are asking for you to get the nomination form to bring 100 million naira.
Nomination and expression of interest form.
They all go together. Yeah. They all go together. 100 million naira. Sir, if you put 100 million naira into a party, what are you going to do? We are complaining that there is insecurity. That itself will increase the tension. That itself will make people want to do the issue of a do or die primaries. I cannot lose my 100 million naira. So they want to do everything possible to make sure that they win. We thought that APC will be a party that will show us example, because they are the ruling party, to show us modern way of doing things, to add morale into what they are doing. Let me now say this. Nobody that have worked their time and energy to make money will put in 100 million naira for nomination form, right? So what they are indirectly saying now to their aspirants is to steal more money from government and come and give to their party. Because I do not think that as a political office holder, you should cough out 100 million to get your nomination form. That is another way of encouraging corruption.
Okay.
Right?
All right. Jibril, let's start from, because you are, leader of the Young Progressives. So let's start from there. Victor here in the studio, Victor Nilaju is a presidential aspirant. He's a young Nigerian. You are a member, an active member of the Young Progressives Congress. You're a leader group. You're also a young Nigerian. The first point Victor has made is that this new cost of the nomination and expression of interest forms by your political party for the various elections is a ploy by the APC, your party, to disenfranchise and exclude young people, young Nigerians from the political process. What do you say to that?
Okay, let me start by stating this, that no political party in our recent history have had an inclusive government like the All Progressive Congress. The sales of form, let's get this right. Elections are not tea party. They are a very cumbersome process, and they are a very long and tiring process that are time consuming and energy sapping and also money draining. Let's be factual about this. The fact about saying it disenfranchises young people, that is absolutely not correct. Does he also know that the party actually made it that the young people under the age of 40 are going to get their nomination form at a 50% discounted rate, and all female aspirants are going to get their form free? No political party, not even the new party, have done this. So this is an inclusive policy that will push this process. If you want to conduct, let's get this right. There are over 170,000 polling units in the country. And the party needs to post agents to all of these polling units. And this agent, the mobilization of this agent and their logistics cost a fortune. So let these politicians who want to go there to represent the people, if you don't have the power to mobilize funds, you have no business even being in politics in the first place. You can as well go for crowdfunding. Let the crowd fund you. As I'm speaking to you at this moment, the group of young people that I convene have been able to raise 100 million naira. None of us is in government. We comprise of students, young professionals across the country, and we've been able to raise 100 million naira for Professor Yemi Oshibajo. So this is the passion we have for this. We don't know him. I've never met him personally, but I have this passion for the growth of this country, for the development of this country. And I feel it is my own civic duty and my part, my quota in nation building, to ensure that a credible candidate emerges. And I'm playing this part on my own volition without anybody forcing me. I'm bringing out my money, and my fellow youths across this progressive youth group are bringing out their money to push for this candidate. So this is how elections are won globally. If you don't have the power to mobilize funds, please go and do something else. It's about collective effort, how we can collectively mobilize funds to push our candidate forward to win an election. Saying the party disenfranchises the youth is actually out of place, because we need to get things in their proper context. And saying it is a recipe for people to dip their hands into public coffers is entirely wrong.
All right, we'll come to...
Elections are community events. It is not an individual event.
We'll come to
so
that. We'll come to that in a bit, but let's just stay on the issue of the youth. Victor, you've heard from Idris. Now, Idris is making a point, which is the truth, that the All Progressives Congress did say yesterday that all of its members, aspirants under the age of 40, need not pay the 100 million if you want to be president. You pay 50%. If you want to go for the governorship, you're paying half, which is 25%. If you want to go for the Senate, you're paying half, which is 10 million. If you're going for House of Reps, you pay half, which is 5 million. And if you're going for House of Assembly, you pay half, which is 1 million. And they're not taking any money from women. So women free. So what he's probably saying is that is just a way of replacing what they have lost in a way, you know.
Okay, so I'm actually not here to debate on this.
No.
But for
it's a debate, whether you like it or not, because it's an issue.
I'm actually not here to debate for the but for Idris, I know Idris knows better. He's just trying to defend his party, right? Only Idris cannot just be the right person.
No, but Idris hasn't taken his swipe at your person. Right person, let's not make this personal, Victor.
Go on, no, I'm not making it personal. If you go everywhere online, majority are saying it is outrageous.
But Victor, the fact that majority are saying it's outrageous doesn't make it right. So I want you to respond to the issues that Idris has raised. Okay. Idris has said his party has given a 50% discount for youth, for all contestants over 40. And no party is doing that.
Sir, in APC don't have, as of today, apart from, okay, maybe it should be above 40. APC don't have any presidential candidate that is below 40.
Aspirant.
Yes.
Adamu Garba is there, the one who supported the ban on Twitter.
Above 40, or it should be 40 this year or something. I really don't know about it. But even if you give him 50%, that's 50 million.
Yeah.
Which is still the highest.
Okay.
Which is still higher than PDP. Which is still higher than even my own party. From 30 million, asks us to pay 10 million.
That's the New Nigerian.
Yeah, New Nigerian. Yes.
Okay.
So they are asking me now to pay 10 million instead of 30, right? Because we had to talk to them, and they have basic understanding that every party drive now should be based on membership. It is paining me that Idris can raise 100 million naira to give to the vice president to run for an election, when we have millions of Nigerian youths that are jobless, that don't even have food to eat. Why? That's why I said I didn't come up here for debate. But if they have
we're talking about issues here.
Sir, if they have that kind of structure, why not get that 100 million naira and look for Nigerian youth who are jobless and empower them with skill, just like what my party is doing. My campaign is kicking off with skill empowerment. I can't spend that kind of 100 million naira giving to vice president.
But you're spending 10.
Crowdfunding, sir. And our campaign is kicking off with skill empowerment for the youth and women.
Why do you have a problem with the Young Progressives group?
I have a big problem.
Contributing money to support a candidate they believe in.
Sir, with due respect.
But you're asking people to support you.
With due respect, sir. Are we not going after the wrong thing? We have youth who are jobless. You are raising money, you are giving it to a man that have embezzled a lot of money from this same country.
Victor.
You may differ because
Victor.
Yes,
Anila,
you
please,
may. Okay,
please.
That have earned. Okay.
When you say embezzled, I've checked my records and I haven't seen that the vice president has been convicted by any court for embezzling. So I think we will not be fair.
I think
if you want to say he has earned a lot of money, or he is well-to-do, because he's vice president, he gets paid well. But embezzle will not be fair.
Whatever you say, Nigerians know what is going on. Whether we come here, see, sir, I will be a stupid person if I come up here and start sounding very naive. We know the facts. Let's face it. You cannot tell me that what you see. If you want us to ask Idris to give us the statement of account, how they generated that fund, he might not see it to provide. Let's not go that route, sir.
Are you sure? We can ask him.
See, by crowdfunding that we are about to launch, every week we'll be giving updates.
We can ask him.
We have
Idris, are you there?
No, See, I'm trying not to make this
because
like
it seems Victor.
No,
Victor, it
I'm
seems
trying not to make this like
no. It seems you're saying that automatically any group that comes out to contribute money for any presidential candidate who is seemingly
Nigerian youth as at today,
excuse me, sir.
Okay.
Who is seemingly well to do, it automatically means that it's just a smoke screen. That he must have given them the money to just so that
Nigerian youth as at today, we no raise 100 million naira. I can bet for it.
Really?
And we not raise 100 million naira
for a politician they believe in.
Allow me to finish my statement.
Yeah.
We not raise 100 million naira and give it to these same old incompetent politicians. They will rather support a visionary leader like myself.
All right.
If Idris had told me that money was raised to buy nomination form for him as Idris, I would have applauded that. Not to give it to the same person you are raising money for is the chairman of the Economic Council of Nigeria.
Is it taking money out from the economy?
And today, no.
So what? It's just a role.
Please, you say we need to make this more a discussion.
Yeah, I'm asking. Guess what I'm asking.
And the same economy that they asked him to manage is going down.
No, but
and has grown worse.
We have to understand.
And you are still raising
Victor,
100 million naira
you have to
give the same person.
We have to understand. We have to understand the role.
Audience.
We have to understand the role of the National Economic Council in the scheme of things as far as Nigeria's economy is concerned. But that will be another matter for another day. It is back to you. Victor has raised the point. What Victor is saying is simply that groups like yours that raise money for people like the vice president, probably who has an office, Victor says he has so much money and that he would like to see your group account. Show us where the money is coming from. And probably he says everybody knows that such things are just Nollywood scripts that are being acted out.
Well, sentiment aside, Victor being a presidential aspirant should actually learn to keep his sentiment aside and speak based on facts. And I think it will go a long way for him, considering the fact that he seeks to lead this country. Let's put things in their right perspective, please. You see, we understand that everything rises and falls on leadership. I know Victor made a statement that with 100 million, you could do a lot of youth empowerment. With a single proper policy, over millions of people's lives will be affected. And that is why we care about who lead us. We're not talking about throwing any youth just because he's a youth and on the seat of power. We're talking about people who have the capacity, who have demonstrated this capacity to lead us at this particular point in time. If I feel it is just because we want a youth at the seat of power, I would have thrown in my hat in the ring. But that is not the case. Let's have the proper people there. Let's have square pegs there. People who can do better than us, and not because we are youth. You understand? And this fund we're talking about are funds that were generated from crowdfunding, because we believe in the capacity of the vice president. Whatever Victor is saying about you want to see the company account and the rest, we can actually show him the source and everything, and none of us hold any official appointment with the government. None of us. We are individuals, students, traders, professionals across different fields coming together to donate this money because we believe in the capacity, and we've been able to communicate this vision to ourselves. And we've been able to share this vision to see that the vice president is the right person to lead this country.
All right,
gentlemen,
hold the thought, Victor. Yes,
Victor.
Yes, yeah. Hold the thought. Hold the thought. We want to go for a break. We'll come back after that break to continue. You're still watching Plus Politics on Plus TV Africa. Stay with us. Thanks for joining us right here on Plus TV and, of course, Plus TV Africa for Plus Politics. So we're still looking at the recently concluded or recently held All Progressives Congress National Executive Committee meeting and, of course, the matters arising, internal decisions taken by the All Progressives Congress as far as the 2023 elections are concerned, issues to do with the the zoning formula of the party, the mode of primaries to use or to adopt, and also, of course, the cost of the expression of interest and nomination forms of that political party. And of course, we have joining us tonight Victor Nilaju, who is a presidential aspirant on the platform of the New Nigeria People's Party, the NNPP, and the convener of the Progressive Youth Group of the All Progressives Congress, Idris Jibril. Idris, you just told us the fact that you don't need to give youth the money simply because they're youth. You're saying it's better for your group to install or instill or support the right leader for Nigeria, so that when that leader gets into power, he or she can promulgate and implement policies that will better a lot of youth long term, rather than 100 million naira that can be finished in a day. So, Victor, what do you say to that?
So, like I always say, we are here because of the audience. We are here because of the people. The reason why I'm on this race to become the next president of Nigeria come 2023 is to bring help to the people. It would be wrong for me to sit here and be encouraging error. You are raising 100 million naira to give to the same person that is the economic chairman of the same country that is going down economically. That doesn't add up. And let me state this so that the Nigerians will know. Buhari had good intention for this country. Fortunately, the people he hired, the people he brought into government to help him run those good intentions failed him woefully.
So you're saying that the reason Nigeria has gone down is because of the vice president?
Yes, he's part of it.
Okay,
He's
okay. More because of the vice president than President Buhari.
I could tell you that, yes, 100%.
More about the vice president.
Yes.
Even the economy is more about the vice president than President Buhari.
You are the chairman. And I will always say, and people come here and tell me excuses that he is not the president. Sir, if you hire me to do your job and you are not allowing me to do your job, what will I do? I will retire. I will resign. And I've always said this time after time. If people should stop giving flimsy excuses for the vice president. If you are asked to do your job, you can't hire me to do a job. And I want to do it, you are not giving me that liberty. To prove to you that I can do it, I will tender my letter of resignation and I will leave you alone so that you can face it. You can't be in a sinking boat and after the boat have sank, you are coming to give excuse because I am not
but back to Idris Jibril.
No, see, this is what I'm going to. Right. This is what I'm going to. I only said that just for him to understand that, see, we are speaking to over 100 million Nigerians and they are listening to us. I'm trying not to make this a debate because Idris is of the same generation like myself, right? So that's why I'm just trying to be mindful. But I want to let Idris to understand that Nigerians are watching, especially our fellow young Nigerians. I'm sorry to say, a majority of them will be disappointed at some things that you are saying right now. You forget about party, forget about politics.
Let's get back to
let's say things.
So Idris, I'll give you a chance to respond to this before we move on to the next issue.
You see, the problem with most people seeking political positions today is they don't really even understand what they seek or the country they seek to lead. I listened carefully to my fellow youth and a presidential aspirant talking about instead of seeking a good leadership for this country, we should take the money and give to youth as youth empowerment. And I weep because giving this money to youth doesn't know what a good leader meant to this country, doesn't really understand what a good leader could do for this country. And we are seeking to have that in place. Instead of just using this money to give to you, we prefer to use this money to have good leadership across board in the party. You understand? So talking about things, let's really get this and keep sentiment out of sight. Let's keep sentiment from this. This is an election period in this country. So throwing allegation left, right, and center isn't going to help us. That's why you see most of this new party coming up do not really make headway because they don't really understand the perspective of things. When they speak out of sentiment and talk about, look, let's get this right, please. There is nowhere in the world where elections, in a democratic process, where elections are conducted and people don't do crowd funding. So crowdfunding is part of the way to generate funds for us. And we are adopting this procedure because we believe as youth of this country we have more at stake on who leads this country. I don't want to join issue with my fellow brother here.
Okay, so let's look at the point that Victor raised, which is that I think, Victor, you said that no youth in Nigeria who is earning legitimate money will be able to sink even 50 million naira or raise 50 million naira to contest for the presidential
to get nomination forms. And you should know that nomination form is the least least expenses you make when it comes to election, because there you have to make yourself available for inter-party campaign, which will lead to primaries, which you have to spend so much.
But you're saying that no young person will be ready to spend all these monies.
What I'm saying here is that if you spend 50 million, for example, now to get the form, how much are you going to spend to campaign for making sure that the delegates they are going to vote for you?
All right.
How much are you going to spend?
So you're saying that no young person is going to want to spend 50 million to get the forms?
That the money he or she make to get the primaries, I doubt.
Okay, so is this what you find? I mean, you're also a young Nigerian and this deeply in politics, Idris, that it will be impossible for any young Nigerian politician to raise that 50 million just for the forms, the nomination expression of interest forms.
You see, I don't think Victor lives in this country and understand how things work here. The fact is that if Victor lives in this country, he will see how people lavish money in clubs, in hotels, on social media, and there are a lot of donations and giveaway. People give 50 million like it is 50 naira today. And these are happening all over. It's happening here and there, and it's being carried out by youth, not the adults, not the older generation. It's being carried out by youth. So this money, if this youth will put this money in the proper place, to ensure that we have good leadership in this country, a lot of things will change. Instead of using this money.
So are you saying that young Nigerians can afford this 50 million naira easily?
Definitely, young Nigerians can afford 50 million naira and beyond.
Sir,
a lot of young people.
Let's get this fast straight, sir.
Making a lot of money.
Please, Idris, let's get this fast straight.
Yes, there are a lot of young people today making a lot of money.
Getting 50 million naira, it's not the problem. The issue here is putting that 50 million naira for a nomination form. That is the problem. And even for me, I'm not going to advise a young Nigerian. I'm not talking about somebody, a former governor, a former senator. No, I'm talking about a young Nigerian that have worked very hard to spend his or her hard-earned 50 million naira to get a nomination form. And I want us to talk beyond this nomination form thing. At least Nigerians know that this is outrageous, right? Because what we are looking at here, we're not looking at just getting a nomination form. We're looking at a candidate that will be able to deliver to the people security, that will be able to deliver to the people jobs, that will be able to deliver to the people.
But he's saying that 50 million is not much money for a lot of young people in Nigeria. And he made a point, which is interesting.
Sir,
no, Idris made a point.
Fintech. Wait.
Idris made a point, yes, which is very interesting.
Yes, but before you make that point,
50 million.
Houses
in Lekki cost 700 million, Victor. Houses in Lekki cost 200 million.
Yes.
300, 500 million. Young people are buying these houses.
Sir, Nigeria as we speak, I can spend my hard-earned money to buy a house because it will appreciate in price. But your nomination form does not appreciate. Let's not go into there. Idris, I'm shocked at Idris right now. because he fails to understand that there are millions of
Victor
young
is not really
Nigerians
getting
looking
this.
at him.
Victor is not
Let
really
me tell
getting
you.
this.
Okay, hold on. He wants to respond. I'll come back to you.
Ruled
Yeah,
by
Idris, you can start
candidates
your point again.
Elections are not bankrolled by the candidates alone. Elections are a community effort. All members of the party come together to ensure that they deliver their candidates. So everybody pool their resources together to run this process. So Victor should stop thinking that the candidate who raised the 100 million naira will be the one to raise money for every process. There are people that will come in. I am providing a vehicle for your logistics. There are people that will come in. I am providing communication resources to you. There are people that will come in. I'm providing one or two things that you need for this campaign period. So Victor should not get it that the single person who raised this money for the nomination form will also be the one to bankroll the electioneering process. That is not how it works. It is a community effort. All members of the party put their resources
Victor,
together.
what do you say to
Once
that?
a candidate has
The
emerged,
the truth about it is there is two basic issues here that I want us to address, and that's where I'm finding difficult to respond to.
No, because he is saying that it is a community effort.
Yes,
It's not a one-man business.
I will get into there. That is after the primaries. That is after the primaries. The primaries need you and your team to work yourself out to get into the primaries, and after that time, you can now get the party to support you, right? But what we are saying here is two things that Idris have said that I'm not in line with. You cannot tell me the young people, you even mentioned students. Nigerian students at home. That's why I don't want to discuss this that length. To say Idris is telling us that the same students who are at home are the ones who contributed money for them to give to the vice president to buy nomination form is out of place.
Idris, what do you say to that? Idris,
do you understand what I'm saying?
I mean,
these students that are at home, you are asking
Idris,
them to
before I move on to my
money.
next point, can you quickly respond to that? I mean, students at home.
excuse me, Mr. Victor. Excuse me.
I'm not here
You
to
see,
debate.
Thank you, Victor.
Please.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Victor. You see, when we say students donating this, our crowdfunding, some of them donated as little as 100 naira to this process. These are people who believe in the candidate we are selling to them. And if we say students, because students are at home, they want a change. They don't want to stay at home anymore. They are looking for somebody who has a solution to they are not staying at home.
Is in the government now.
Looking for
He should do
somebody
the
who has a
change
solution
right
to they are
now.
not staying at home.
He should do the change. If the vice president is listening to me, Mr. Vice President, Professor Osibajo, you are a professor, you are a lecturer. Please take Nigerian students back to school.
So
it's
all down
buy
to
your nomination form.
So Victor,
take them back to school.
What you're saying is that the vice president is solely responsible for the ASU strike.
When you ask me that question,
because I mean, Idris said that that you might not really understand the workings of government in Nigeria.
It's Idris that don't have an idea.
Are you expecting the vice president to be the one to
the vice president
to bring an end to the ASU strike?
The vice president can call the Minister of Education and call the ASU executive together for an indoor meeting.
When the president has not approved or asked him to do that.
When the president has not asked him to do that.
Yeah.
On his own. The president has the use to raise money for him.
The issue of ASU, is not
sir, please,
but I think
let's gentlemen, let's have one house. Let's have one house, please. There is I'm just going to ask our producers to please display this on this tweet by Adetunji Adeniro, who calls himself AA. And he has come up with another kind of analysis of this 100 million naira. He says he did a simple analysis. Clearly, the ruling class, he says, don't think in naira terms. And if you can see from his analysis, this is the cheapest the APC presidential form has ever cost since the party came up in 2014-2015. You can see from his calculations, and you can follow him at King Adetunji if you want, underscore, if you want to just read that personally and maybe save it. He's saying that in 2015, if you do the maths, the APC presidential form Forbes cost $270,000. In 2019, they cost $226,000. In 2023, it's costing $171,000, about $99,000 less than it cost in the last elections. So maybe it's a case of we not really upgrading our Naira and Kobo, sense to know that 100 million Naira today really doesn't amount to as much as it used to amount to.
We are in Nigeria. We are not in US. And to even bring up that, you are even showing to the world how Nigerian currency have been devalued, have depreciated under the same person that you are God, I've not heard this before. You are raising money for the vice president of the country from the same students that
we moved on from the vice president.
Do you understand?
No. I mean, to be on the 100 million naira.
Back to
the 100 million. What this guy is saying is that it actually, in real terms, costs less. That's what he's saying. That is what
you are showing us,
is saying. Is that it costs less.
No, what he's saying.
This is the cheapest it's ever been.
No, it's the cheapest because our naira have been devalued.
That's not in doubt. But is it? So you are agreeing it's the cheapest?
It's not the cheapest.
No, but you just said it's the cheapest because naira has been devalued.
It's not the cheapest.
But look at it. It's $171,000.
In dollars, we are in Nigeria. We're not in the US.
But the oil you buy is you buy priced in US dollars, so you pay in naira. The crude oil, the petrol you buy is in USD.
That is another shame to the vice president.
Even your naira is
that is another
it goes up
shame,
or goes down.
That is another shame.
No, we moved on from the vice president. We're talking about the cost of the form.
We're talking about the cost of the form, and we're indirectly looking at what Idris said. That Nigerian youth.
We moved on from that. I'm saying that Adetunji Adeniro on Twitter says that the APC presidential form, from his analysis, and please can you show down the screen, costs less in 2023 than it did in 2019 and 2015. More than 100, about $99,000 less.
We are Nigerians, sir. Let's talk this figure.
But do you agree that is the fact?
In naira, it is higher. In naira, it is higher. Right?
Really? Because you have depreciation.
Our people, sir.
That you would have to.
Let us educate our people. See, sir, I'm in this political space. Politicians will do everything to change the narrative.
But
when it comes to what
this is not the narrative. This is the fact. It's there.
That is not the
info.
Fact.
You can go online.
Sir,
no,
that is not.
What is the naira to dollar today? Okay, let's allow Idris come in.
That is not the fact.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think this discussion has been clouded by too many emotions and trying to drag the name and character of the vice presidents into the gutter. And I think I'm not going to toe that part with Mr. Victor.
Yeah, but we've moved on from that now. We moved on from that. No, Victor, please.
Adetunde Adediran for thinking globally. As much as we actually admit that, yes, the Naira has lost its value, but this analysis is apt. It is correct. It is accurate when you are thinking globally. And come to think of it, no party's nomination form has remained the same from 1999 till date. So the party nomination form keeps increasing, and this has been the value of things across. I don't think Mr. Victor here will want to sell a land he bought.
It seems we have a bit of an issue with the connection to Idris. Are you there, Idris Jibril? Okay, we've lost him. Victor, before you go, why do you think some people are asking, that, candidates like yourself, other Nigerian politicians who are young, and even the young people of the country who are screaming about the 100 million naira. There are there's 17 other political parties that are available for people who have a problem with this to go and join. Now, you yourself, you've taken a decision that will mean that you don't have to go take ibuprofen tomorrow, which is you are in NNPP that says instead of 30 million, bring
10
So
million.
why do you
It
want
is
to
one
give
of the
yourself
greatest parties right now.
additional headache? This is how they want to do their things.
Okay.
In APC.
Oh.
So you have chosen your path. Shouldn't other people also look for where they can go and have peace of mind
Sir,
and allow them do the
it's
things the way it is their party?
Sir, it's the pressure that they put into the political system. Even if I am in NNPP right now, New Nigeria's People's Party.
So why you it's like being an Arsenal fan and then you are worried about
Sir,
Manchester United.
See, I am worried because it doesn't show that the people leading us as at today are sincere to the problem that we are facing as a people. And we are still worried that because we have because we have young people in APC, like myself, that would love to run for the office of the president.
All right, we have to go. Victor Anilaju is a presidential aspirant of the New Nigeria People's Party, the NNPP. And of course, we've also been joined today by the convener of the Progressive Youth Group in the All Progressives Congress, Idris Jibril. Jibril and Victor Anilaju, thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Idris, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Victor. I hope to see you someday.
Yes, we'll hope to have you guys again.
See.
And that's the much you can take on the program. That's the size of our show. My name is Kofi Bartels. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow.